to Dads, brought to you by Dad University, is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we are back.
We are back.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads, episode 173.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
And it's another doozy. No,
Okay.
it's not a doozy. This one's a fun one, actually.
Okay.
It's 8 life lessons that every dad should teach their sons.
Okay.
So 2 weeks ago, we did the 8 life lessons for daughters.
Yes.
So figured, hey, I got to be fair.
Yeah.
I got to do the same thing for the boys.
For the boys, for the sons.
So that's what this list is. And let's get it started. Let's just go right into it.
Dive right in.
No small talk. People came here for the meat.
Yeah, they want the meat.
They want the substance. So number 1, men can have emotions, or boys, or however.
Yeah.
But you can show emotion. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. Doesn't mean that you're not manly or that you're not a warrior.
Yeah.
You can have emotion, but many men feel like that they can't, especially around their children. And so they actually teach that to their boys as well, and saying like, hey, no, boys don't cry.
Yeah.
You can't have that emotion.
Yeah. It's probably more apparent when we were kids, because I think it's a little bit more loose nowadays. However,
Well, it's considered weak.
Yeah, and I still think there's this carry over, especially when generations just keep pushing those things over to their kids. Like, toughen up, don't cry. And it's like, sometimes you got to cry.
So the key with that, and I'll have a caveat, is allow them to have the emotions, but what we need to teach them is how to get control of the emotion so that they can be done with it quicker.
Yeah.
In other words, whether they're sad, hurt, forget all the emotions that we went over. Emotional intelligence. It's late at night. I forget. But doing that is allowing them to have the emotion, but then like get over it in a sense.
Yeah, or going through it. There's a proverb that I get over. But yeah, going through it, like it carries you over when you actually kind of go head first into it.
Right.
And I think that's one of those. Funny you should mention this. I saw a poor kid was crying about something. He was probably like preteen age, maybe like 10 or 11, and he was crying about something. Something was bothering him, and I don't think it was his mom or maybe his aunt or something was like, you're crying like a little girl, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's the exact wrong thing to say to him in public, mind you.
Right.
But like, hey, man.
But that's what's
but it's so rude. It's like, it's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's happening here? What's happening? And so they were able to talk it through. It's like, all right, well, let's figure it out. Let's go somewhere else and figure it out.
Right.
Instead of telling him in front of his friends and in the public.
Right.
What kind of a crying, quote unquote, like a little girl. Like, what difference does that make?
I know.
So
yeah, it's just that's the way we do it.
Yeah.
A lot of areas. Not we meaning me.
No, I get it. Yeah, humans.
We meaning them.
Human beings.
Those people.
Yeah.
Number 2, treat people with respect. I don't know how much we have to explain that, but it's basically it's respect for other things.
Yeah.
Actually, and treat yourself with respect as well.
Yeah.
But the way that you deal with other people is really important, and so obviously as a dad we have to show that, and that be that's every level of person. When you go from a restaurant, or you're at a hotel, or you're at anything, or you're doing anything else, it doesn't matter who you are and what level of success, income, status, anything, you treat other people with respect at all times. And, and if you're playing sports, it's the other team. It's all kinds of stuff that goes into play.
Right.
So treating people with respect is a really, really important lesson. Number 3, chivalry is alive.
Yeah.
Say what you want. I think that being a gentleman has a lot of value.
I will say historically, and I try to be a gentleman most of the time, and I've gotten compliments. I've gotten people noticing it. I've gotten in certain situations where I probably would ordinarily get in because I was just certain politeness about me, and I was always taught to be that way. Plus, I grew up with a lot of women, so I had a lot of mostly matriarchs in my family. So you learn to be respectful to women, but also I also learned that to be helpful and to open doors and that
I think the argument that I have heard of the opposite, where is that a woman or a girl can feel sort of secondary or not as equal when the chivalry is done. In other words, if I was to open a door for the woman, however, I would have opened up the door for the guy too if he's coming and walking my way.
Right.
Certainly, there might be a couple different acts that might be more towards women, but meanwhile, like we're not laying our coats in a puddle anymore. And those
says you,
right? But you walk on you walk on the street side, and I mean, there's all these different little things that. So chivalry is alive, and I think that I think it's called cotillion class, where kids, I think they're like age like 10, 11, maybe 12, they have to be whatever, can go and learn manners and learn those kinds of things. Yeah. So I maybe manners is also with chivalry, but but holding the door open, saying please and thank you, your manners and everything else, kind of all goes together. That to me. Sure. I think it's still alive. I think it's really important. The women in my life have always appreciated it. Yep. And so I'll continue to do that.
Yeah. Same here.
Too bad if
you get mad because I'm opening a door for you, then that's really
you're not the right person.
Exactly. I'll close it right on your face.
No, I mean, but trust me, my wife is just as strong, if not stronger than I am, as far as just, both physically and mentally. She appreciates those kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so she's not thinking of it as a negative in any way.
Right.
That if I was to do something for her that was chivalrous, it's perfectly acceptable.
Absolutely.
So it's fine.
Yeah.
Number 4, stand up for yourself. So I do think that a boy needs to learn how to defend himself in some aspect, both for defend himself and those around him that he loves. But it's basically not letting other people push you around. So now defending yourself doesn't necessarily mean you need to be in a fight. Defending yourself means you stand up for yourself and you are assertive so that somebody isn't picking on you or bullying you or pestering you.
Right.
Now, if you have to defend yourself, that's one thing. That's probably a different discussion. But I can go as an example. I mean, my kids are in martial arts and have been for a long time. And I mean, one of the first things they've learned is it's for defense.
Yes.
It's somebody coming at you. You don't use it for any harm to any person.
Taking kids' milk money.
Yeah. I mean, and so even in that, where you're learning how to fight, it's basically defensive, and so that it's just, that's why I said it's not always physical. It's also, just verbally standing up for yourself when somebody's saying something or whatnot. So I think that that's an important thing to teach, because boys have a tendency to do that quite a bit, where they are, try to put someone else down or try to put them in their place or whatever. Not that we still do that as adults.
Yeah.
A lot, but I just think that's important. So, number 5, make your own decisions. So, try your best effort to not be influenced by others for your decisions. There's a saying that 2 boys together have half a brain and 3 boys together have no brain. Right. So what happens is that as you get boys together, they can start making some interesting decisions. And you have to be able to think for yourself when they're young. You have to teach this, because as they get older, they will be faced with some difficult decisions.
Sure.
Drugs, sex, alcohol, other things that they're going to have to make that decision and say, what do I want?
Right.
What do I want to do in this situation? I don't care what my friends are doing.
Yeah.
And that is a really hard thing if you haven't been taught that.
Peer pressure. Yeah, for sure. You know, it's funny. I remember learning about peer pressure before I got a lot of peer pressure. And then I would go to like these parties in high school and there'd be people drinking and hey, you want to drink? And I'd be like, no. And I felt like they were going to get this backlash. Like, oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, I wish I could do that. I'm like, what happened to all the peer pressure that I was called trained for? All my friends are cool. What's going on?
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat. I mean, once in a while you'd have someone like, really? Are you sure?
Yeah, you sure you don't want to be here? No, I'm good.
I was totally
all right.
I know.
No, they're like, hey, come on, do it. They're not doing that anymore. Well, at least they weren't when I was.
No, I think they do.
They do it. They do. I just happen to be.
You happen to also be assertive.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Like I was prepared for it, and they were like, "Oh, that's good." And okay, yeah, so
right. You're ready to.
I was ready. I was ready to rock.
That's funny. So that was make your own decisions. Number 6, choose your battles. There are times to walk away. There's times when you don't. When it comes to family and friends, usually it's not worth battling.
Right.
We used to have a thing on here, the battle on our podcast, where we would battle things, but that was for fun. But most things, I say, are not necessarily, you don't need to battle.
Right.
And so learning to do that, especially if, as the child is growing, they're not going to need to battle everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes, now that's different when there's something that you really strongly believe in. And that's the whole point, is to choose your battles. If it's a belief or if it's a cause or if it's something else and you are prepared to battle for it and you're prepared for the ramifications, then hey, go for it.
Right.
But you have to be ready for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So choose your battles, especially when you get married or you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
I just had that conversation today, actually, with somebody. Not for me, for them. Number 7, don't criticize other people. I won't say where I was, but I was somewhere.
Okay.
And I was noticing how much, it was a group of guys, how much there was criticism of some of the other people around us. And it's really unattractive when people do that. I mean, male or female.
Right.
And I know for myself that I had done that so much more because I was critical of myself more at that time. And so that's typically what happens, is it's something that's going on from within them. But teach your children to not comment on other people's shortcomings, appearances, or anything else negative that you have to say about somebody.
Yeah.
It just doesn't help the situation at all.
Yeah.
And so as a dad, we have to watch that because, I didn't know what to say at the time because there were so many people saying things.
Yeah.
Like, I, in a sense, I'm a little upset at myself for not speaking up. I did in one instance, but in a couple of others, it's kind of like that. Hey guys, let's just, it's who cares? Let's move on.
Right.
And that could be just someone's appearance or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, that's a typical thing of just, whether it's a female or another male or whatever.
Right.
So just don't criticize other people. It's not helping. It doesn't make you look good. It makes you look worse, actually.
Yeah, really.
And so don't do it. And number 8, it's not just about you. So, this can cover a lot of things, but I was thinking primarily as it relates to relationships,
right?
Interpersonal relationships,
right?
So that goes with friendships or romantic relationships. And for us to teach boys, the problem is a lot of men don't realize this either.
Yeah, right. I was going to say.
But girls like different things than boys want.
Right.
Like the way that a boy would probably kiss a girl is going to be different than the way that the girl would kiss the boy.
Right.
And so you have to kind of teach, and then you can go to the extreme.
Sure.
Boys need to be taught that.
Yeah.
That you treat women how they want to be treated, not how you want to be treated,
right? Yeah,
or you want to be, dealt with, And so, that's oftentimes a huge thing of confusion, for a lot of people. And goes, I didn't understand. Why didn't she like that? Well, because you didn't do it.
Yeah, you're going after what you wanted,
right?
Yeah.
So, I think that's an important thing. So these are things I think that are really important for men and dads to teach their sons. Alan, if people have feedback, comments, criticisms, praise, they want to donate money, what else?
Soliloquy, whatever you want to do.
What do they do?
Podcast at dudesToDads.com. You can email us there and hit us up on our social media channels, Twitter at DudesToDads, Facebook, DudesToDads.com, YouTube, Dad University and DudesToDads. Some great videos up there. And please go to iTunes and Stitcher and anywhere else you see us and leave some reviews. Subscribe to those channels, and it really helps perpetuate the show.
Awesome. Well, on behalf of myself,
right.
I'm not saying on behalf of you. Alan, thank you as always.
Absolutely.
And
thank you.
We will see you next week.
See you next week.